The flying taxi. In June 2024, a small white pod with no wings and no pilot lifted off the ground in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. It rose straight up like a helicopter, hovered for a moment, then glided forward over the rooftops of the holiest city in Islam. There was no one inside the cockpit. There was no cockpit. This was the EHang EH216S, a Chinese-built electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, or eVTOL, and it had just completed the world's first licensed autonomous air taxi flight in Mecca. Saudi Transport Minister Saleh Al-Jasser personally launched the trial. The aircraft seats 4 passengers. It runs entirely on electric power. It produces almost no noise, and it was the first air taxi on Earth to receive certification from a civil aviation authority. The plan is to fly pilgrims from Jeddah's King Abdulaziz International Airport directly to designated airstrips near the Grand Mosque in Makkah, a trip that currently takes 2 hours by bus through some of the worst traffic congestion on the planet would take roughly 12 minutes by air. No traffic, no heat exposure, no exhaustion before the pilgrimage even begins. But convenience isn't the real reason this exists. In 2024, pilgrims suffering from heat stroke in Mina waited for ambulances that couldn't move through gridlocked roads. Some died in that traffic. A flying taxi can evacuate a critical patient to a hospital in under 6 minutes. It can carry blood supplies, emergency medication, and ice packs over the heads of 3 million people. Saudi Arabia isn't building an air taxi network for luxury. They're building it because roads failed and people died. Termal imagined drones during Hajj 2024. A medical journal called The Lancet published a study that found something terrifying. Over the 6 days of Hajj, there were 43 hours where the combination of heat and humidity in Mecca exceeded the upper limits of human survival. 43 hours where the air itself could kill you. The human body cools itself through sweat. But when humidity is too high, sweat doesn't evaporate. Your core temperature rises. Your organs start to shut down. And by the time you feel dizzy, it's often already too late. You collapse. In a crowd of 3 million people, no one may even notice. Saudi Arabia's answer is flying above the crowd right now. Drones equipped with thermal imaging cameras patrol the skies over Mina, Arafat, and Muzdalifah, scanning thousands of bodies per second. They read surface body temperature from the air. When the AI detects a pilgrim whose thermal signature is spiking, rising abnormally above the surrounding crowd, an alert fires instantly to a ground rescue team with that person's exact GPS coordinates. They're not responding to emergencies. They're predicting them. A rescue team can reach a flagged pilgrim before the pilgrim even realizes something is wrong, before the dizziness, before the collapse, before the damage becomes irreversible. During Hajj 2025, Saudi Arabia deployed these thermal drones alongside an AI-powered firefighting drone called Soccer, capable of 12 continuous hours of flight. The system doesn't sleep, doesn't get tired, doesn't lose focus in 50-degree heat. It just watches. And it catches what human eyes never could. Smart e-bracelets. After the 2015 Mina stampede, hundreds of bodies lay unidentified for days. Families flew in from dozens of countries, searching hospitals, morgues, and makeshift identification centers. Saudi authorities collected DNA samples. Some victims were identified weeks later. Some were never identified at all. That failure led directly to one of the most significant changes in Hajj 2026. Every single pilgrim now receives a smart electronic bracelet, an e-bracelet, that they must wear for the duration of the pilgrimage. The bracelet stores the pilgrim's full name, nationality, passport data, blood type, medical history, emergency contacts, and known allergies. It has a built-in GPS tracker that allows authorities to locate any pilgrim at any moment. It includes a pedometer that counts steps, an SOS button for emergencies, a compass pointing toward the Qibla, daily prayer time alerts, and basic health monitoring that tracks parameters like heart rate and blood oxygen levels. If a pilgrim collapses, a rescuer doesn't need to search for identification. They scan the bracelet. Everything is there. If a pilgrim gets lost, and in a crowd of 3 million, thousands get lost every year, authorities can pinpoint their location in seconds. India's Hajj committee went even further, deploying smart wristbands linked to the Hajj Suvida app with encrypted data exchange and remote device management. The bracelet also provides multilingual navigation assistance, guiding pilgrims through unfamiliar routes in their own language. It's lightweight, it's waterproof, It costs almost nothing to produce, and it solves a problem that has haunted Hajj for decades, that when the worst happens, no one knows who you are. Now they do. Now they always will. Drone medicine delivery. On June 7, 2025, a drone carrying a sealed medical container descended from the sky and landed on the rooftop of Mina Emergency Hospital. Inside the container were ice packs, the single most critical item for treating heat stroke, the single biggest killer at Hajj. That delivery was the first successful drone-based medical supply transfer ever conducted at a holy site during Hajj. It was carried out under a pilot program led by the Saudi healthcare supply chain company known as NUPCO, in coordination with the Ministry of Health. Here's why this matters. The holy sites of Mina, Arafat, and Muzdalifa aren't cities. They're temporary settlements that appear for 5 days and disappear. Roads between them are clogged with buses, emergency vehicles, and millions of pedestrians. Getting medicine from a distribution center to a hospital that desperately needs it can take an hour by road during peak congestion. By drone, it takes minutes. The system transported medicines, surgical supplies, and cold chain items, things that degrade in heat, directly from NUPCO's central distribution centers to primary healthcare facilities and field hospitals scattered across the holy sites. No traffic, no delays, no temperature damage. Saudi Arabia also deployed helicopters alongside the drones for larger medical cargo, creating a complete aerial logistics network that operates entirely above the gridlock below. The 2025 trial was proof of concept. For 2026, the system is being expanded. The goal is a permanent aerial medical supply chain that activates every Hajj season, because the difference between a drone that takes 4 minutes and an ambulance that takes 40 isn't a matter of convenience. It's the difference between a pilgrim who goes home and a pilgrim who doesn't. The 155 TON cooling system. The Grand Mosque in Mecca holds over 2 million worshippers at peak capacity. Outside, the temperature during Hajj regularly exceeds 50 degrees Celsius. Inside, on the marble floor where millions perform tawaf around the Kaaba, it feels like air conditioning. That's because it essentially is. Beneath the Grand Mosque sits the largest cooling system ever built for a single structure on Earth. Its total capacity is 155,000 tons of refrigeration. To put that in perspective, that's equivalent to the combined air conditioning of 155,000 average homes running simultaneously, all for one building. The system uses a district cooling plant that chills massive volumes of water underground, then pumps it through an enormous network of pipes embedded beneath the mosque's floors, walls, and surrounding courtyards. The marble flooring itself was specifically selected. It's high-quality white marble sourced from the Greek island of Thasos, chosen because it has an unusually low heat absorption coefficient. It reflects solar radiation instead of absorbing it. Combined with the underground cooling pipes, the floor stays cool to the touch, even when the air above it is scorching. But the system doesn't stop at the mosque. Saudi Arabia expanded its cooling infrastructure across the holy sites for Hajj 2025 and 2026. Over 400 misting stations spray-cooled water vapor into the air at Mina, Arafat, and Muzdalifa. Roads were coated with a white heat-reflective material, called white roads, that reduces ground temperature by 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. 45,600 new air conditioning units were installed inside the tent city of Mina alone. Shaded rest areas were expanded by 50,000 square meters. The entire operation exists for one reason: to keep 3 million human beings alive in a place where the ground itself can burn skin. Manara, the AI robot inside the Grand Mosque. In Mecca, not in a lab, not in a demonstration hall, inside the most sacred building in Islam, surrounded by millions of worshippers. Its name is Manara, which means lighthouse in Arabic. It's a humanoid AI-powered robot designed in an Islamic architectural style, standing among the marble columns where pilgrims perform rituals that are 1,400 years old. And it speaks 11 languages. A pilgrim can walk up to Manara, ask a question about Hajj rituals in Urdu, Turkish, Malay, French, or any of its supported languages, and receive an accurate answer in real time. The robot draws from a vast database of verified Islamic rulings and religious guidance. If the question is too complex for automation, Manara connects the pilgrim to a live scholar via video call, instantly from the floor of the Grand Mosque. It also provides navigation assistance, helping pilgrims find gates, washrooms, medical stations, and exits in a structure so vast that getting lost inside it is a real and common problem. For elderly pilgrims who speak no Arabic and can't read signs, Menara is the difference between confusion and clarity. The technology is part of a broader Saudi initiative that includes 5G-powered smart robots deployed across Hajj sites, using natural language processing and speech recognition to interact with pilgrims. Naturally, some assist with crowd flow, some provide weather updates and health advisories, some simply answer the question every first-time pilgrim asks, "Where do I go now?" And that might be the most important question at Hajj, because for 14 centuries, the answer depended on finding another human being who spoke your language and knew the way. Now a machine with 11 tongues stands in the house of God, and it answers everyone. AI facial recognition and crowd prediction. There are 15,000 cameras installed in and around the city of Mecca. 15,000, and every single one of them feeds into a platform called Basir, built by the Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority, known as SDAI. Basir doesn't just record, it thinks. It uses artificial intelligence to process footage from all 15,000 cameras simultaneously, analyzing crowd density, movement direction, walking speed, and flow patterns in real time. It can estimate exactly when a particular site, a corridor, a gate, a bridge, is about to reach maximum capacity. And when it detects a potential bottleneck forming, it alerts authorities to redirect pilgrim flow before the crush ever happens. This matters because of what happened on September 24, 2015. At Mina, near the Jamarat Bridge, two massive waves of pilgrims collided at an intersection. There was no warning, no system to detect the surge. Over 2,400 people were crushed to death in minutes. It remains the deadliest disaster in Hajj history. Basir was built to make sure that never happens again. During Hajj 2025, it tracked over 1 million worshippers per day inside the Grand Mosque alone. The system also uses license plate recognition, facial recognition, and, according to multiple reports, emotion detection algorithms that can identify distress, confusion, or panic in a crowd before it escalates. 1,000 new surveillance cameras were added specifically for Hajj 2026. The system now also detects unregistered pilgrims attempting to enter Mecca without permits, the same population that made up 83% of the deaths in 2024. The cameras don't just watch the crowd, they protect it from itself. In 2024, Hajj lost 1,301 souls. In 2025, heat casualties dropped by 90%. In 2026, every pilgrim wears a bracelet that knows their name, their blood type, and their heartbeat. Drones see who's about to fall before they fall. Robots guide the lost. Flying taxis carry the sick over the traffic that used to trap them. And beneath the feet of millions, the largest cooling system ever built fights a desert that has always been unforgiving. None of this erases what was lost, but all of it exists because of what was lost. Every technology on this list was born from a failure, a tragedy, a moment where the old systems broke and people paid with their lives. Hajj is the oldest pilgrimage on earth, and in 2026, it's also the most technologically advanced gathering of human beings anywhere in the world. If this video taught you something you didn't know, leave a like. If someone you know is going for Hajj this year, send it to them. And subscribe, because next week, we're going inside the one place at Hajj that no camera has ever shown you.